Hey, this is the Mighty Manfred, and it's time for your coolest conversations. And on the horn with me today, at this very moment in time, is Kurt Baker of Kurt Baker and his Party Animals. Hey, Kurt.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good now that I got you on the line here.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm glad we're talking.
yeah, well, let's see. First off, I've got a trivia question for you.
Okay,
Are you ready?
sure.
No lifelines on this.
You got it. Let hit me.
Yeah, okay. Who lives by the maxim, or let's say, who has always gone by the famous saying, have a good time all the time?
Well, Manfred, I think you're speaking to him. I think that's me.
How do you manage that?
Well, I drink a lot of water. Water is the most important thing, and fruit in the morning. And then, I'm good to go, ready to party all day and party all night and have fun, eat a lot of good food and hang out with awesome people. Can't complain.
So rock and roll is all about the hydration.
Yeah, you got it. It sure is.
So the last time we met, or actually the first time we met, this was back in June. I was overseas with the Woggles playing in Spain, and I met you at a gig there in Madrid.
That's right. Yeah. I'm actually currently living in Spain, and so I love it there because you always get a lot of great rock and roll bands coming in like the Woggles, and it's a lot different than where I'm from in Portland. We would rarely get great rock and roll shows, so I try to go to as many as possible, and I went and saw you guys, and it was incredible. So I really dug the show.
Well, thanks. Well, why Spain? Why Madrid? Why not say London or Berlin even? What took you to Spain, to Madrid?
Well, I had a lot of options. I could have. I was living in Portland, Maine, my whole life, and I needed a change. And I was thinking, okay, I could go to maybe Boston, New York, or Los Angeles, or even other places in Europe. But it happened to be that I played a lot in Madrid with my old band and my current band, the guys in the Party Animals. And it just felt like a second home. It's still kind of a magical thing, and maybe it's the food, maybe it's the ladies. I'm really not sure, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to Madrid, and I made a good choice with that. I'm always staying busy, and thanks to the internet, I'm able to still communicate with the guys back in the States, and also have new projects and play shows while I'm over here. So. It's a great experience, and it's something that I can grow from because I don't really speak a lot of Spanish. So every day I'm learning new things. It's great.
Well, I want to talk about some of the things you're into right now. But first, I wanted to reach back. You mentioned being from Portland, Maine. Tell me about your rock and roll beginnings there, because you were also in the Leftovers, and how did you go from the Leftovers to doing the solo thing and then some of these other projects?
Sure. Well, I knew from when I was really young that I really wanted to play music, and I was drawn to the '60s music, and then I got into the '70s, and a lot of my peers, my friends, they weren't so into that music at the time, but I was really into it, and eventually I found a couple guys that we were all going to high school together, and we formed the Leftovers, and it was like one of those groups where we loved the Ramones and the Beach Boys and the Beatles, and we wanted to, put all those influences together. And we started when we were 14, 15 years old, and we took that band for really, it was a great ride. We toured all over the world and all over the States and put out a bunch of records. And for a band from Portland, Maine, it's a small town, so we were really lucky to be able to get out and see the world. But, things change and people go in different directions. And so eventually we kind of called it a day back in 2010. And I still wanted to keep on going. And I was really into, the more kind of power pop stuff. And we all had some musical differences. So once the band kind of folded, I kind of just jumped into doing some solo work. And it ended up being more of a power pop kind of direction. And so that's where I am now, and it's always growing as an artist and changing your sound, just doing what feels right, and so now I'm here putting out pop in rock and roll music for you. So,
So what's your connection with the Connection? Those guys from Portsmouth, because you play
yes.
also with some of those guys in the New Trucaderos, and how did you guys build that relationship and make that connection?
Sure. Well, Jeff, the guitar player of the Connection, used to play in a group called the Guts, and the Leftovers and the Guts would play all the time together because we were only, we were about 45 minutes down the road from the Guts, and we were the two bands in the New England area kind of doing the pop punk kind of music. So we met a long time ago, and ever since we've just been great friends, and we've always collaborated and played on each other's records. And now what we've got, with the Connection and the New Trocaderos and everything that I'm doing with my group, and our keyboard player Fingers is an incredible keyboard player, and he's working on some music, but we've got kind of a collaborative kind of group going. It's like, it's a collective, a rock and roll collective, kind of something maybe similar to what the guys in Rockpile were like. We're big fans of Rockpile, so we kind of look at that as kind of a blueprint of what we strive to be,
Well, thinking about what you got going on right now, let's see, last year you laid out a brand new beat for us. Album was brand new beat, and now the latest is brand new B-sides. Are these actually new B-sides, or where are these B-sides coming from?
So these are all B-sides that they were originally intended to be part of the Brand New Beat album. I wrote all these songs with Wyatt Funderburk, who's based down in Nashville, and he's the producer, and we've collaborated on many songs. So I would go down to Nashville, and we'd just write lots of tunes, and then we'd record them and demo them, and all of these songs are the songs that we didn't end up using for Brand New Beat. We just had a incredible kind of creative awakening, I guess you'd say, and we wrote many songs. So these are the ones that didn't end up on Brand New Beat, but had appeared on some bonus tracks as like tracks on Japanese releases or releases in France and abroad. And then just some unreleased tracks too, but we felt that the material was strong enough to put out as a B-sides album and have it be something for the fans to listen to before we release an album of new original material.
Well, let me ask you. So just as we were starting the interview, we had just heard "Lost in Translation." So, is there anything you can tell me specifically about that as a B-side, or where that was originally?
Well, that song is actually about Spanish women. So yeah, I've always liked the ladies of Europe, and especially the ones that live in Spain. So that song was kind of influenced by the travels and touring in Spain, and kind of being a little lost in translation because we're not native Spanish speakers. So
you mentioned the producer. Was it Wyatt Funderburk? Is that right?
Funderburk.
Yep. And how did you said he was in Nashville, or how did you how did you find him? How did you guys hook up?
Well, that's another connection that dates back to the Leftovers days. When the Leftovers used to tour in the South, Wyatt had a group called Second Saturday, and we were big fans of his group, and he ended up arranging a show for us in Nashville, and we really hit it off. We loved, the same kind of groups. We were big fans of the Electric Light Orchestra and all these kind of crazy groups, but we really hit it off, and we decided to write songs together. And so we wrote a leftover song called Telephone Operator, and after that, the songs just kept on coming. We really work well, and so I would get down to Nashville when I could to start writing songs for Brand New Beat, and ever since we've just had a great relationship, and he's in the Party Animals too. He always comes on tour, and he's a great guy, talented producer and songwriter.
Kurt, if I could label you as a confection, I would call you Pop Rocks. That's what I call you.
Pop Rocks. Yeah, I like that. I love Pop Rocks.
What is your attraction because you were talking about starting up with a punk band and stuff, what's your attraction to power pop, and is power pop even a thing as opposed to rock and roll? So what is power pop?
Well, That's a really good question. And, throughout the years, I've been, labeled as a power pop artist, and I love artists from the 70s that fall under that genre. But to me, it is a form of rock and roll. It's just, a little more poppy. It's definitely got its roots in the 60s and 70s. But, at the end of the day, it is just rock and roll music that's catchy and fun to dance to, like most other rock and roll. But yeah, it's just, a subgenre, I guess you'd say. And I'm oftentimes lumped into it. But at the end of the day, if I'm talking to somebody that doesn't really know the concept of power pop, rock and roll is what it is.
That's it. It transcends.
Yes.
Hey, so right now, you are not in Spain. You're not in Madrid as we speak.
Right now,
where are you this very moment? And aren't you working on a new album? Tell me about that.
I am, yeah. So currently, I'm actually doing a little stopover in Madison, Wisconsin, and I've been here many times before since my family's from here. So I love cheese. Cheese is one of my favorite things in life.
You're a cheesehead.
Yeah, I'm a cheesehead, and they've got some good beer here too. So I can't really complain. I'm a happy camper. And I'm doing some tracking for my follow-up record to Brand New Beat. So we've got the B-Sides album out now, and the new record will be out early 2015. So really excited about that, and I hope to do a lot of shows and see a lot of new places. Who knows?
Oh, that sounds excellent, man. Looking forward to that. Kurt, thanks for speaking with me.
You got it, man.
I wanted us to go out on another song off of Brand New B-Sides. Let's go out on Quit Dancing with My Girl here in Little Steven's Underground Garage.
You got it.